All right. As I said, this particular session is going to be on virtual brochures in the candidate portal. Few little housekeeping procedures. If there's a question that you have about the candidate portal or the virtual brochure, I'd like you to chat that out in the chat box, please. Find the chat box and make sure that you go ahead and use that chat box to ask questions. If it's a more complex question, go ahead and do me a favor and raise your hand, and I will unmute you individually. The reason we don't have everybody unmuted is typically on these classes we'll have anywhere between 8 and 10 people, and feedback can be pretty ridiculous. So we try to monitor, or because we are recording every one of these sessions, we try to make sure that we minimize all of the background noise as possible. So also the parking lot. If there's a question that you ask in the chat box or a question that you ask verbally that I can't answer because of lack of experience in the candidate portal or the virtual brochure or whatever the case may be, I think I know it pretty well, but if there's a question that you have that I can't answer, I'm going to let you know, hey, I can't answer that one, but I'm going to put it in a parking lot and I'll get back to you with the answer within 24 hours. Okay. Also, as I mentioned, all sessions within FranConnect are recorded. You will receive an email just for the basic just by signing up to be able to view the recording. So when you do get this email, just make sure that you click on the view recording. It's going to look like you are actually signing up for another class. You're not. You're actually just signing up to view the recording. It's the way that GoToTraining actually tracks who and when the recordings are viewed. So don't worry about when you click on the view recording button, this blue view recording button from your email. It will look like you're signing up for another class. You are not. You are signing up to actually view the recording. Let's talk about the agenda for today. Should be a fairly short agenda today. We're going to talk a little bit about the virtual brochures and the candidate portal. We'll have then a quick Q&A session afterwards, and then we will kind of go from there and see where we head with it. I did ask the Massage Envy group if we could use their candidate portal and virtual brochure as an example, and we actually have an expert in their candidate portal and brochure on the line. Todd Hillman's with us today, so thank you very much, Todd and Massage Envy, for allowing us to use your virtual brochure and candidate portal as an example. So I will hopefully be able to answer all of those questions, but I might even pull Todd in if he's okay with that to answer any very specific questions about his setup and whatnot. But for the most part, I should be answering all the questions. We're just really planning on using theirs as a demo. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you guys have no more questions. Any questions from you guys? Chat them out or raise your hand, and I'd be happy to answer those before we get started. All right, I'm not seeing any hands or questions, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks, Todd. That lets me know that everybody's at least hearing me. All right, so virtual brochures. Virtual brochures, and this is an example of a virtual brochure that Massage Envy, or that we created for Massage Envy with their design specifications. You get a link to this particular virtual brochure that you can provide to anyone, usually on websites that you have designed, your own personal websites, or you could just frankly just give the link to anybody that you want to have them come and take a look at the virtual brochure. Most of the time it's used in conjunction with like a click here type situation on somebody's promo page or whatever the case may be, but I've seen it done in several different ways. So when they go to this particular site, they're going to get a nice little intro message, and the intro message is of course customized to the brand. In this case, we are lucky enough to have Massage Envy on the call with us and be able to use their particular brand as well. So once they go into here, they have the option to click on the Learn More button. And the Learn More button then brings us to the actual virtual brochure. And what's really beautiful about the virtual brochure is that as soon as this particular person decides to click on the Apply Now, all of the time that they're spent in the virtual brochure is actually tracked within FranConnect so that you're capable of actually seeing how long they've spent in each one of these particular sections. So for instance, I can go through the About Us and I can click through the Next. We can incorporate multimedia, and we can incorporate multimedia as you see here. at every turn of the way. We can also click on through and have various links within each one of the particular sections. Notice that we have various links here that go out to separate sites. This is their that actual site, the link to that particular site.
So what caused me to go from...
And we can have lots of different multimedia content. Now notice, of course, when we get through the About Us, there's always a question near the end that asks them to actually register. So if they get through the virtual brochure, they can go ahead and take the time to actually register to be a lead within our sales system. Now, Candidate Portal, I probably should have started it with this, but Candidate Portal and Virtual Brochure are separate costs and or modifications within the sales module. So if you're interested in this particular feature, similar to the Insights module that we did a little bit ago, there's an adjustment that would be required, but we thought it was a nice feature to show you guys just so that you guys are capable of viewing it. So now, of course, notice, of course, from the virtual brochure, if they are a returning user and they have a username and password and they've already been set up, they can just simply put it in. Or if they're having trouble, notice they've actually, Massage Envy's provided a number, which is actually local here to Tempe, or Phoenix at least, and they can call that there. All right, but if they've gone through the About Us, the brand, the support, the next steps, all that kind of stuff, they would be brought to a register. Now, my dashboard will cover in just a little bit here, but notice, of course, my dashboard sends us again to this registration page. In order to access their dashboard or the Apply Now situation here, it's going to all take them to allow them to register. So a lot of different links to get you to this particular page, but all of them are filtering you to be able to sign yourself up as a sales lead with Massage Envy. So when the customer, the franchisee, potential franchisee, clicks on the register button, they're asked to provide some basic information. Oops. I'll use one of my siblings' names here, not to give you too much information about me, but and I'm going to use my email address so that we can kind of see the email that comes to them. And then they click on the Submit button. Now, automatically, what's happening behind the scenes when somebody registers is a lead is being created in the original, or in the Massage Envy lead management. Okay, so if I go into lead management, you're going to see a brand new lead of Derry Klim being added. And of course, the person, the status is going to be new lead, and the owner will be assigned based on the owner assignment rules that the domain actually has. I'm going to change this one so that I, as Frank Menger, can actually view this person. So I'm going to modify this real quick so that I can view Derry Klim's record here. Change myself to the lead here, or the lead manager, so that we can play around with this one. They've got some preferred stuff that needs to happen here. State. Yep, there it is. There we go. And now we can kind of bounce back and forth between what we see and what they see. Okay? So again, if I kind of, from my side, and now I'm back as a corporate, I'll put my corporate hat on. I'm Frank Menger. I'm the lead manager of Derry Klim. All right? I have the option to take a look at anything and everything that this particular person has done within the virtual brochure. Notice that my time, the time that Derry Klim has spent on each one of the sections is logged, and that really gives you how truly interested this particular person is. You also will see various personal questionnaires that will be answered throughout, and those particular answers under the virtual brochure tab will populate here if they have answered those particular questions within virtual brochure. So from here, of course, excuse me, if I, as Derek Klim, want to continue and really kind of take a look at various things, or skip ahead and actually say, you know what, nope, I am gung-ho, I am ready to get started, which is, of course, what every salesperson's dream is, I can jump right into the franchise application. I'm going to go the slower route just so that we can kind of see all ends of it. And click on the Continue button. And this, of course, allows us to start answering these questions. Have you visited? Yes, I have. Very relaxing. Nope, if I learned to spell, it would be very relaxing. Because all the people in the audience that have OCD like me are like, dude, you spelled it wrong. I'll just put in some test data here, just so that we can see it. And then, of course, all those questions are answered throughout the actual brochure. So notice we're brought into Massage Therapy Relief Stress. This is Massage MV's actual site, and of course it allows us to take a look at various things within their site and links to that. So on and so forth. Again, noticing the multimedia content that can be put in, the links to various sites that can be put in. That really kind of takes a look at the virtual brochure. Now, the virtual brochure is completely designed by FranConnect with the specifications given to us by the brand, whoever the brand is. Okay, in this case, Massage Envy gave us most of the content. We just basically put it together for them and really, put it into a format that would allow it to sync in with the virtual brochure that we have and sync with FranConnect's site. Okay. Now, the other piece of today's training really I'd like to talk about the candidate portal. Now, the candidate portal and the virtual brochure are typically used in conjunction with each other. The candidate portal really is just what it sounds like. It's like a portal for a candidate. I'm using the word to define the word, so I'll probably do a little bit better in describing it. But the candidate portal really is more of a communication tool for the lead manager to communicate with the lead, and for the lead to be able to communicate with the lead manager. So there's ways that we can set this up on the back end, but I'm going to just sort of show you a little bit about the lead and the lead management and how they would be communicating back and forth with this person. So the way that the lead is going to be able to view the candidate portal is by clicking on Personal Portal. And notice a pop-up is given, and this is what the candidate portal specifically for Massage Envy will look like. Off to the left, you're going to see various steps in the process of awarding a franchise, as well as any messages that have been posted to the candidate. The candidate may also post a message to the lead. And all of the messages, of course, are posted in below here. So Derek Klim says, "Hello, Frank." You'll notice also that you have some locked steps here, or unlocked steps here. Review the virtual brochure, initial call with Frank Menger, complete the candidate application form, as well as some locked steps. Discovery day visit and due diligence, sign franchise agreement. These steps can be locked or unlocked by the corporate representative, the lead manager. Notice that, of course, for each one of the steps, we can view the remarks for each step. We can add remarks to the step. And we can review the virtual brochure and mark it as complete. On the actual words, we can provide a hyperlink to what we're asking them to do. Review the virtual brochure or complete the candidate application form. And then once they've done both of those, of course, they would simply mark that as complete. And from the corporate side, we would see all of that activity. So notice, of course, that's kind of taking care of the franchisee side. But on the corporate side, what options do you have as a corporate user? So I'm now going to log in as the corporate user and the lead manager of Dairy Clim. Notice when I go into lead management, I'm going to take a look at Dairy Clim here. She's one of my leads. And now I can take a look at anything and everything, again, using the virtual brochure that's been going on. Notice that those questions that were recently answered from the About Us section have populated. And my times continue to populate as Dairy continues to visit various pages within there. Going on to the Candidate Portal tab, notice that I have all of the same options that the lead had, as well as some internal options like the Send FDD email, in which I can unlock and complete on my end. I have a few other options. I can still view remarks of each one of the steps, add remarks, send an email reminder. This is an additional step that, of course, a candidate does not have. I can hide this step from their view, or I can lock it down. Notice these are all unlocked, as symbolized by the unlocked symbol here, and these three are locked, which is all, of course, set up on the back end in the administration section. Notice that, of course, the question mark gives us a little bit of a help option on that as well, and kind of gives you some information as to what is going on and what they're going to see on their help option. Notice that the message from Dairy Clim populated here, and I have the option to populate a message to Dairy Clim right from my side of it as well, so that she will end up getting a message in her candidate portal. Typing is not my strength today, guys. Neither is salesmanship, obviously. My email leaves something left here. And then I post the message. And of course, from the you'll notice that all of the messages are being recorded. Okay. And from the side of the candidate, if I were to log her out and log her back in, oops, Dairy. Oops. Let me grab the actual, oops. There we go. Oops. Now let me grab the password real quick for Miss Dairy. No, it just jumped me right into it, didn't it? Oops. Go ahead and send the email out to myself real quick so I can grab the, I should have taken a picture real fast. Notice what I did there, I just sent the login details. So if they ever question, hey, I forgot to write down my login details, just like I did, you can send the login details, and a pre-formed message will populate here with all of the login details that have been set up for them. While that's populating, I'll show you the email that I received as Dairy Clim. Dear Dairy Clim, Frank Meggers posted a message. Hello, Dairy. How's the process coming on? So notice that, of course, they get an email with what was sent, and in their portal, it's taken a while to populate, in their portal they would see my message as well. Okay. I'm having a hard time logging in there, but that really is the usage of the virtual brochure and the candidate portal. Lots of setup on the back end, and as I said, both of these particular features are additions to the sales process, but really are meant to, a virtual brochure really kind of provide a link to your candidates or your possible candidates from a site to have a very beautiful multimedia display for customers to be able to, possible customers to be able to see what's Massage Envy all about, what's your business all about, and then provide a link directly for them to sign up as a possible candidate as a lead for you and have it directly come into FranConnect's system. That about covers what we were going to talk about for the candidate portal and the virtual brochure. Obviously, there's quite a bit of setup that's involved in the virtual brochure and the candidate portal, and a lot of admin options as well that we wouldn't cover on this particular class. We hope you've enjoyed the class on candidate portal and virtual brochure. I want to send a special shout out to Massage Envy for allowing us to use their candidate portal and virtual brochure as our demo today. And I will open up the line for questions. If you have a specific question and you want to ask it verbally, just raise your hand. If you have a question you'd like to ask just in the chat box, you're more than welcome to do so. I'll go ahead and hold on the line and see if we have any questions and keep the recording going just to make sure we've got all those recordings. And if I don't hear any questions or see any hands raised, then we will end the training in about 2 or 3 minutes. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us if you decide to jump off. My name is Frank Menger, and I'm happy to hear from you at frank.menger@franconnect.com. Love to hear from you, any feedback that you might have. Okay, we've got a question from Jeremy. It says, do franchisors use the virtual brochure and candidate portal with a dedicated franchise development website as well? They can. It's really kind of up to you how you want to use your virtual brochure. You can have it within a specific website, as Massage Envy has done. You can have it just as a standalone thing where you direct them to that particular portal. Most of what I've seen, Jeremy, is the usage of the virtual brochure and candidate portal with links from the main brand website, if you will, to be able to say, hey, are you interested in being a franchisee? Okay, here's the virtual brochure. And then from the virtual brochure, they are given the possibility of having a candidate portal and so on and so forth for communication. Does that answer your question, Jeremy? Good deal. Any other questions from you guys? Great question, Jeremy. All right, we'll give it just a couple of minutes then, and we'll give it about another minute. Thanks, Todd. Thanks for joining, Todd. I know this was kind of a rehash of what we just covered yesterday, but I really appreciate your involvement on the class today, Todd. I agree. Todd says, pretty nice virtual brochure, eh? Yes, sir, it is, which is why I asked you if it was okay for us to use it in our demo today. I really liked it. Thank you very much for letting us use it, Todd. We'll show it one more time to the audience real quick because it is so beautiful, right? No problem, Todd. You have a wonderful day. Todd said that I should mention definitely that the virtual brochure can be put within a campaign. So, of course, you can take the link that we provide you to the virtual brochure and include it within an email campaign, and you can have that go out as the link to the virtual brochure from there. So, thanks for that, Todd. I hadn't thought about that, but you're absolutely right. Could totally be used within a campaign if that's how you choose to push it out to people. Thanks for the tip. Jeremy says, who would we contact about the cost implementation? That would be your, thanks Todd, have a great day. The person you'd contact would be your advocate, your customer advocate. So you should have a dedicated customer advocate for you, and that would be your person. And if not, if you don't have a dedicated person, then I'd be happy. If you're interested, you can email me at Frank. I'll go ahead and chat out my email address for you, and I will get that request over to the appropriate person. There's my email address. You can copy that down, and if you don't have a customer advocate or you don't know, I know you have one. It just would be as to whether you know who your customer advocate is. So if you just emailed me directly, if you're interested in more information about that, I would be happy, Jeremy, to make sure that we get you more information on the cost of implementation and so on and so forth. No problem, Jeremy. All right, as we've seen most of you guys drop off, it's about 11:33 my time, so we're going to go ahead and end the call. Thank you very much. Enjoy the extra 27 minutes back in your day. We hope that you had a wonderful time with us and hope to see you on future Ask the Expert section. Again, my name is Frank Menger, and have a wonderful day.